So, said I wasn't going to do another video this year. Got a new tripod here. We're going to see how this works out. I don't know if this new height thing is going to be an issue, but maybe not. Wife's watching pit bulls and parolees in the background. Go Pits. So what we're going to talk about today is my second Akston Hughes SL from AkstonHughes.com. Here we go. So we'll start out with a vape. I have developed in the last 72 hours, a love-hate relationship with this gorgeous little battery. So we'll start out with a vape. This is just my Mark II Infinity 5/64 air hole. So see what it goes. This is on green. Pretty good job, huh? It looks great, doesn't it? I thought so too. So I got my first one in. Got a handy other aspect there. I got my first one in Christmas Eve. I was very excited to get this device in. I remember looking on the website back in August, really wanting one of these. I went to VaporCon. I saw Fields of Vapor, Sensefield. With one of these, I thought it looked absolutely beautiful. Most beautiful mod, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. One of the most beautiful devices I had ever seen. Now, I have since then moved into just generally being a hardcore Genesis user. I found out that you couldn't use anything below 1.5 ohms on this, so I decided, at worst case scenario, it's 50 bucks. Time you add shipping and batteries, you're about 80 bucks, $85 after shipping and everything. Don't fall for the telescope extension bit, because you get another one of these little rings that's about twice the size of this one that actually goes on the telescope that's included. I fell for that. I thought I was actually buying this because on the side it said telescope extension. So I thought I was buying this, and I don't know, maybe that's my fault. But the telescope extension is not this piece. This piece is included in the $50 package, retail package. The telescope extension is a ring that goes on the end of this that's about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16 of an inch larger than this one. So I fell for that bit. But anyway, I knew that this thing wouldn't use anything below 1.5 ohms. So, you know, my normal coil is 1.2-ish. I'd been running on 1.3 on my Mark II, 1.3, 1.4 on my Mark II Infinity for my final review there last week or a few days ago. So I got it in, and I talked to Daniel. I got my first one in Christmas Eve. I talked to Daniel, the guy who owns the company. After I bought it, he tried to comp me some batteries. I wouldn't even take the free batteries because that's just what I do. And I asked him, I said, well, 1.5 ohm coil work on this? And he said, 1.5 should be fine. I said, well, 1.3 ohm work or 1.4? He said, probably not. I said, okay, well, what would happen if I did run something on it that it wouldn't do? He said, I'd blink 3 times, you'd put something on there that would work, and you'd be just fine moving on forward. So I said, cool. I got it in, like I said, Christmas Eve, DOA. Normal style, you know, try to contact the manufacturer, you know, do a first impressions. But I contacted Daniel. He said, I'll get you another one out Wednesday, day after Christmas. And I said, okay, cool. You know, these things happen. I found out during that time that another reviewer friend of mine got 2 in DOA. I spoke to Daniel again while mine was on the way, and he said that mine and the other reviewers who had ordered 2 of them, they were the only 3 that were bad out of the 120 that were sold. So, you know, I'll take that with a grain of salt. You know, maybe I don't know the guy. I have no reason to question his integrity. So, got the new unit in. Worked great. I put my 1.3 ohm, or 1.3, 1.4 ohm Mark II Infinity on here, which I've got under the sneaker here. And went to fire it up. Started vaping great. It was 1.3, 1.4. Started vaping great. So I thought, oh, there may be some, you know, some tolerances here and there or whatever. Vaped great. Vaped fantastic on green. Vaped really good on yellow. Vaped, I could get 2 or 3 pulls on red and then reset to green. So I figured red was just pushing it for 1.3, 1.4 ohms. So after about 30, 45 minutes of vaping the Mark T with that, I decided, you know, I'm just going to roll like 1.6, 1.7 on this Mark T. And, you know, really run this thing above the limits that it's supposed to run. And see how it goes. So I yanked the coil off. I put a new coil on. I just dripped in this, so I'm going to take it off. Put a 1.6, 1.7 on. It was bouncing between, definitely above the 1.5. Plugged it in. Wouldn't vape. Got a little confused. Now, throughout the day, I'd also been juggling a mini did that had a 1.7 ohm coil on it. So it was working good. I had been vaping between the two, you know, every 30, 45 minutes, hour. Swap it out, Genesis dripper, Genesis dripper. And man, I am on fire for this device. If you guys will check out my Facebook, I said on there, I said, looks like the Akston Hughes SL is going to be my dripping go-to battery mod of choice. Buddy of mine said, hey, they're only $50, so I go and grab one. I said, oh, you know, give me a couple of days with it. You know, I don't want to make a recommendation on it, but I'm loving it. Got to the end of the day. Like I said, I went and put that new 1.617 ohm coil on my Infinity. Started getting this blinky light. Couldn't figure that out, so I went back to the mini did. Blinky light. It's like, you know, maybe the batteries are low, because I go through 2 full cycles a day. I found out I went through 2 full cycles of the battery in a day, and have kind of had that trend for the 3 or 4 days I've used this. So I changed the batteries out. Nothing. Blinky light. Put a Cardo on it. Started vaping great. Changed the batteries out. You know, went and put another coil on it, a 2 ohm coil on my Mark T Infinity. I went and put like a 2.5 ohm coil on my did, making sure I was well above the 1.5. Wouldn't fire. I took the mesh out of the equation. I wrapped just a silica wick in my Mark T, reading 1.8 on my Pravari, I think. Blinky light. Now I'm getting angry. So I spent a good, like, I don't know, like into the night, 3, 4 hours just messing with this thing. I wanted to say something else. Just messing with it. Changing the batteries, you know, trying different things. Cardos are working, but nothing rebuildable is working. Mesh, silicon, nothing rebuildable is working. But they're working on my Pravari, and they're reading, you know, above 1.5 easy. So the Pravari's using it, and I'm like, I take it off, I put on the Pravari, check it. 1.6, 1.7, you know. Vape's great. Check the resistance, 1.6, 1.7. Put it on here. Blinky light. And so after about 3 or 4 hours, I'm like, just to hell with it. And I just, you know, I kind of tossed it aside. I said, well, I guess not. So the next morning I get up. I put my Mark T on it. Lo and behold. It's vaping great. Put the did on it. Mini did, because it'll fit in the sneaker if you take the telescope, interior telescope off and just use the outer sleeve of the sneaker. Mini did goes in there. It's vaping great. It's like, maybe it was a fluke. So I vaped on my Mark T and my did back and forth for the majority of the day. There towards the end of the day, quits working again. Like, no matter what I do, no matter what I put on it, it quits working. So I start to think that maybe there's some sort of issue with rebuildables as a whole. So I said, I'm not going to do what I did last night. I'm just going to put it on the shelf. I'm going to get up in the morning. It's either going to work or it's not. Guess what? I got up the next morning. It's working. So, again, I used the Mark T on it for about half the day. About half the day this time, not the whole day. I'm loving it as a dripper. Loving it with the mini did on it. Loving it. The power, when it's working, it's something different about it. It seemed to be a better pull, a better draw. It just, more power. It just seemed to work well. And then, 1 or 2 o'clock today, this is where we're into today now, stops working. And so every time I try to do this video, I thought to do this video, I was going to do all kind of up closes and show resistances on Privaris and then over to this and over to that. And about 15 minutes ago, I hooked it all up, set my tripod up, I got up close, the damn thing started working again. So I thought, to hell with it, I'm not going to do the up close stuff, I'm just going to talk about what happened. And so here we are. Now it's weird, like I've got one did with a 1.7 ohm coil that's not working. Then I've got another mini did that's got a 1.7 ohm coil that is working. Then I got my Mark T with a 1.8 ohm coil and it's not working. But then I got like a 1.8 ohm Smart Vape stripping addy and it's working. So just weirdness. And so me and my wife, we decided to get out earlier, go by my grandfather's house. I was going to show it to him because I think he would be a Cardo type guy, and it seems Cardos are going to work okay on it. So I just like grabbed a dripping addy and I grabbed a Cardo. Both one is actually a 1.5 on the Cardo, is working fine. 1.8 on the dripping addy, so I'm dripping. I've got a drip shield on it to make sure it's all protected. You know, one of those that'll go over the ego thing and seal the bottom, so it really does keep the juice out. I get over to my granddad's and I'm dripping and I'm, you know, showing it to him, and the damn thing quits working. I vaped for like a 20-minute drive over to my grandfather's house with this thing, with this 1.8 ohm dripping addy, and it's working great. And I'm like, you know, I just probably won't give it to him. So I get there and I pull like 3 or 4 drags off of it, and it's off again, blinky light, flashy light. So I get home, I put the Cardo on. The Cardo's not even working. Nothing's working. And then I got to do this video, and of course, it did it too. Well, there we go. Here we go. And it just stopped working. These are fresh batteries too. So like, I don't know. Hang on one second, let me get some more stuff. Okay. Cardo. 1.5 ohm. Working. Mark T Infinity. Not working. It's 1.7 ohm coil on that. Now, we'll get into some weirdness. I've got 2 mini dids. I've got the same coil on both of them. This one always fires. Like this one always fires. I didn't grab the other one. But the other one won't. It's like the Mark T. It just sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. This is the dripping addy that was working earlier and then it quit working. Oh, it's working now. Like earlier it did this working, not working cycle with this dripping addy. Let's go back to the Mark II. It seems like if I go use stuff that was working and then go back to something that was working, it would start working. So I don't know. Like, I can't recommend it because I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. Because if you can't identify the problem, how do you fix it? Like, you want to use this thing in here. I want to use this because it's a good looking setup. Really good looking setup. Started working, stopped working. I don't know. I can't recommend it. I wish I could. I love the way it looks. You know, and like I said, it stopped working on the Cardo earlier. It stopped working on the dripping addy earlier. And these aren't coils that I built. So, you know, but you know, like I said, I could test this on my Privari, and I don't want to do any additional takes on this. I just want to show you, like, you know, we'll just go right here on the Privari. Come on. One six. One six. Take a vape off this. Like, I'm gonna crank her on up like 4, 5. Hell, I don't know. Couple of more drips here. That was right. Go back to this thing. Try it again. They start working now. So when a device is more finicky on performance, on working when it wants to work or not working when it don't, there's no way to recommend it. But something about this freaking did. I don't know, man. Always fires. Always fires. So, I don't know. I'm not going to ramble anymore. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what the issues are. I know it works when it wants to work. It doesn't work when it doesn't want to work. So no go right now. I know they're going for $50. I think, although I've had a Cardo doing it too, so I think that maybe if you were a Cardo vapor, it's a sexy vape. Maybe you'd have better luck with it than I did. But I mean, I've run the gambit. I've gone Addies. I've done several different Addies. I've done 3 or 4 different rebuildables. I got one did that always works on it. I've got another did that works like the Infinity every once in a while. Dripping Addies occasionally work. Sometimes they don't. Weird thing is, earlier when it wasn't working, this Cardo wouldn't work either. Oh, there we go. Now this is somebody's going to say, hey, it's the batteries. You know, it's not. These are fresh batteries. It's done this on both sets that I have. I have 2 sets of batteries, and I have this weird performance anxiety with both sets. So I don't know. That's what I got. JC West, Jamie, JC West, ECF New Vapor, Vape Pit, UK Vapors, Facebook, Vapor Wall, just about everywhere else. Be strong, vape on, and we really will see you again next year.